Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Now, the conversation is talking about something that I particularly love so much. I'm obsessed with salted caramel cookie monster flavor cake. And now, cakes lend themselves to limitless variations depending on the proportion of their ingredients, the way they are mixed, flavorings added to the basic ingredients, the shapes of the pans used in baking, and cooling and storing methods. In fact, any number of fillings, frosting, and final decorations can be chosen to make every cake unique, plus the artistic expression of its maker.
And for South African accountant turned cake artist Kurhula Makhuvele, baking comes naturally to her. No wonder she made a life-sized cake of Grammy Award-winning DJ Black Coffee, which has got many people talking. The cake was 6.5 feet tall and weighed more than 100 kilograms. You might wonder how she achieved this feat. Well, this morning we are going to be speaking with her on Breakfast Central. We have Kurhula Makhuvele, who joins us live from Johannesburg, South Africa. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Really interesting. And of course, baking a cake that size definitely is a lot of work, but we'll get into it. You had a job as an accountant. Tell us why you abandoned that job for baking and what really happened.
I really didn't abandon it. It's just that, with
Pushed it to
the
the side.
economy in South Africa, I always got contract jobs. It would be like 6 months, a year, and 3 months, those kind of things. So with my last contract, I decided I can't keep on hopping from job to job. Let me do something that I am really passionate about, which is cooking and baking. So I started a cooking business. Then when that business failed, I decided, you know what, let me take the cake business with me home. So I started baking from home in 2018. That's where it all started.
Wow, that's such an interesting story. When we see how well you're doing, everyone thinks that it was easy, but you're just talking to us about how when you started out you failed. Now let's talk about this giant cake that has gotten everyone's attention. Why did you decide to do that cake, and what would you say the process was like for you?
Um, when Black Coffee won the Grammy, this was not my first cake of DJ Black Coffee. And last year, in 2021, my first cake was a face of DJ Black Coffee. It was a 2D, so it was on a cake board, lying down on a cake board. So this time, when you won a Grammy, so I thought, what a better way to celebrate as fellow South African than doing a life-size cake of him to celebrate his win as well. And also, it was to encourage the kids at the home that the cake went to say, the world is your stage. If you work hard on your dream, you can achieve anything. You can be anywhere you want to be in the world.
Wow.
I'm simply stunned. I'm wondering what part of the cake I'm going to eat first. If I have that. Okay.
No, I think it's also very important for us to mention that the photograph that is being shown on the screen of you and the man, that is not a man standing there. That's a life-size cake.
I can barely even tell.
That's a life-size cake.
When I first saw the photo, I thought you were posing with him, and I was wondering, where's the cake? Is the cake the Grammy? But I'm just realizing that the cake is a human standing beside you.
That is fantastic. Now, talk about this cake. Between the aesthetics and the taste, which of them was your top priority?
It was the taste. Because at the end of the day, the cake needs to be eaten because that is not a statue that is meant to be eaten. So I always work hard on my cakes that they taste good. I always say the taste is important. No matter how the cake looks, the the taste must be on top.
So what would
So
you
yeah, I
say?
prioritize the taste as well so that the cake can be finished and it was eaten the very same day.
So what would you say DJ Black Coffee tastes like?
Is
Okay.
so many layers of flavor. There are so many layers of
All
flavor.
right, let's clarify for our viewers real quick, for the benefit of our viewers. Black Coffee made history in April 2022 when he became the first African artist to win a Grammy Award for Best Dance and Electronic Album. So when we talk about Black Coffee here, we're talking about the cake, but also the human. Osaoge was referring to the cake, just so we're clear. And the cake was made after him. Let's talk about this cake. From the day, take us through the process of making this cake. How many days did it take you to make this cake? How many days did it take you to ice this cake? Did you need to get extra hands to help you? Just take us through the process.
It took around 10 days to finish the cake because I started on a Sunday. That's when I started with the phase. Um, when uh, there was a bit of a challenge with the weather because it was very cold. When it was cold, the face was becoming sticky and it was challenging to do. So it took me more days, which is was 5 days to finish the face alone. And then in another 5 days, two bakers joined me. So that's when we started baking. So we wanted to keep the cake as fresh as possible. So they joined me on the 6th day, and then we started baking and staking the cake. That took us, we slept like it was 2 hours a day and we slept 2 hours because there was load shedding in South Africa for about 2 hours. The electricity will go off for 2 hours. In that 2 hours, we will rest. Then later on, we'll continue with the work. So it was around 86 layers of cake sponge that went into the cake, not counting the ones that didn't make it because they were breaking, because the cake was very fluffy and moist. So yeah. I had two wonderful ladies that came and assisted me, Patience, Kororo, and Tandeka. They came in and they helped me staking the cake, decorating it, making sure that we get every detail.
Okay. Now, quickly also share with us, why black coffee? Because there's so many other people in South Africa that are doing phenomenal in the music industry. So why black coffee?
Is such an icon, is such a very, from my perspective, I haven't met him. When I look at his life, he's such a humble person that that he deserves to be celebrated as a person, as a musician as well, that has put South Africa on a greater platform as well. That he works hard to be where he is. He works very hard. It's one of those people that inspired me to work hard as well in my life, to say, what, keep on working, no matter where you're starting from, work hard and you'll achieve your dreams.
Wow, this is beautiful because just by him living his life and doing his work, he's inspired you. And just by you doing your work, I'm sure you're inspiring tons of other people around the continent. Now, very quickly, you've talked about, you hadn't met him. You mentioned that you hadn't met him. Have you met him now? What was his reaction to seeing the life-size cake you've made of him? And how would you say that this has impacted your career so far?
I haven't met him because when I remember I made the cake after he won a Grammy, and he's a very busy man. And I finished the cake. I think that the day after I finished the cake, he was traveling outside South Africa. So ever since then, he's been outside the country, but he has retweeted. He saw my work and then he had retweeted, and I have already spoken to his foundation. They called me, they saw the cake as well. I sent them pictures of the cake as well. I haven't met him, but I would have loved to have him when I was presenting the cake to the kids, because the kids as well really love black coffee, and that was the real reason behind making the cake, to celebrate him and also have the kids seeing the person they love turned into a cake. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh,
We hope
okay.
that you get to meet him
And now
soon.
quickly talk about, financially how different it has been since you left accounting to baking. Has your income, become, a lot more compared to when you were an accountant?
It's a bit, having your own business is a bit challenging. It's very challenging. And also when it comes to finances, when you are a person that is financing your own business, you do not have any other source of income financing it. Because when I started with zero amount. So it was whatever amount that I'm making, whatever profit that I'm making, I'm reinvesting into the business, making sure that the business grow. So far I've seen an improvement in the past year. There's an improvement. We're
Yes.
getting there. We're not yet there, but we're getting there.
And we know that you will get there. We're here rooting for you all the way from Nigeria, hoping that your business gets better. And we look forward to having you again. Maybe this time you're making life-size cakes of myself and No, just Usagi and I, really. The rest of, don't make for the rest of the crew.
Absolutely. And of course, a lot of people will be envious, a lot of people, because Black Coffee is one of the biggest DJs in the world. I've been following him for a long time. A lot of people want to have a taste of him, but guess who did?
Ooh.
You did.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. Have a very beautiful weekend, and we look forward to seeing you at the top.
We do not have confirmations yet in this regard. Like she said, it's different reactions from the Ugandan camp and from Congo as well. But when we do get definite statements and definite positions of both presidents on the subject matter, we'll have Dorcas Kimono join us all the way from Uganda again. Thank you very much, Dorcas, if you can see this.